Yo guys, in this video, I'm debating a guy that we randomly met who's questioning pickup, questioning getting better with women. He's questioning everything I do. I love that. That's amazing. I love when people question me on this. So enjoy the debate. If you need help with getting better with your social confidence, fill out the form below. We'll do a one-on-one call. I got you, brother. Peace.
In your area, but like all the relationships I've had in my life, they have come unexpectedly. Like I wasn't specifically looking for love. I was just like, it will be good. I'm trying to meet someone, and like it just happens. So I try not to try too hard.
Well, I'm the opposite. I try very fucking hard. But sometimes. Sorry.
No, has it worked out for you? Because when I try hard, like I use like dating apps, I try and research.
But is that hard?
Worked out the other night.
Is that trying hard? Dating apps? I don't think that's trying hard. I think that's actually the opposite.
Oh, what do you mean?
Because you say you try hard.
Yeah.
But I think dating apps is not trying hard. I think it's actually the easy one. Because you make an account from the comfort of your own home. You upload the best photos, and then you work on your profile, and then you swipe.
But I mean, you can be very vulnerable on dating apps. And I've had intimate conversations on dating apps. It does happen. Yeah.
I don't know. Trying hard, I feel like.
I actually like that I try hard. When I say I try hard, it's not out of desperation. Because I have enough game to just get a normal relationship now. Everything I'm doing is a bit excess. And I genuinely love the process. Like, I love the hunt. I love the night we had last night.
Hunting is very fun.
I love getting better. I love seeing myself improve. I genuinely just see it as a skill set. So if someone said, dude, I try super hard at basketball, I don't think like, why? Why are you trying hard? It's like, fuck yeah, he loves this fucking sport. I see it almost like it's a sport.
I would actually venture as far to say if you're beginning, you should try hard. Yeah. You're going to need to use every ounce of your willpower, and you're going to have to fight back doubt, and all your demons that you're stuffing away are going to come up, and you're going to have to try your hardest to fucking push through that. So I would actually say try hard. Try as hard as you fucking can, because that's the only way you're going to make it, honestly.
And you know what? The problem with every single person who joins my community, not every single, but almost all of them, and every person who watches my video is they underestimate actually what it takes to get better, depending on your level. I have a guy where I even had to delete some of his messages in my Telegram because he kept on complaining and complaining and complaining. Then finally I deleted it. I messaged him. I said, bro, no victim mindset, bro. Like, how many approaches have you done? He said, man, I did 2 approaches. And I was just like, 2 approaches? That's like saying you took 2 shots at the 3-point line and I'm not good at shooting it. Bro, you gotta take way more than that if you're not naturally gifted. And I'm like, there's the ego there that says, I should be good enough now, and you gotta squash that shit immediately. You gotta just say, you know what, it's a long road ahead of me. It's a long road, you better fall in love with that shit, because it's gonna be hard. And eventually it's gonna pay off. So, if it was hard, everyone would do it.
It's good that you deleted his comment, because even when I read the guy's comment, it put me down. And I was like, God damn.
And everyone started, like a lot of the people who weren't approaching in the community started throwing up, yeah man, it's so hard. It's like, bro, it's not the energy we need in this. And I said, bro, put another comment, like make something else. I want you to talk about the action you've taken, and then you can complain and vent. But talk about the action you've taken. And then that's when we found out, I did 2 approaches, 2 numbers, and they flaked. I'm like, yeah, 2 approaches. I was like, bro.
You get the double digits at least.
Yes. Yes. So,
at least.
Until you get rejected 50 times in a night because you're just pushing through, and it happens to all of us. Like everybody has bad nights, right? Until that happens, like.
Have you ever gotten rejected? I've gotten rejected 49 times, like almost 40, like 50 times in a row. It was one of the worst nights I've had, and it was last year. It wasn't even that long ago. It was my first night back in America from Budapest. I walked into this club from Budapest. I was crushing it. I walked in thinking, I'm the man. I got rejected 50 times in a row at a college bar, and I remember laughing at myself. What is going on? But by the end of like my time back in America, I went to that same college bar, was making out with girls, I was crushing it. So I eventually like got out of my own way and figured it out and solved the puzzle. But yeah, bro, you can get rejected 50 times in a row. It's pretty brutal.
It's pretty brutal.
I was saying that to you, I don't even know why I'm sharing this, but I was saying this to you a couple days ago. Like, in 7th grade, I kind of started really, really young. We had like school dances, and I was the guy, simple pickup days, if anybody remembers. And I was like, it was like slow dance, right? And I was like walking up to girls, rejection after rejection. So I kind of beat this shit into myself very young, like 12 years old. Like, get rejected, talk to people. Because even at 12 years old, I think I realized, like, it's crazy, it's insane, like at a school dance, right? Getting rejected 10 times, but then the 11th girl saying yes. At 12 years old, in my mind, I made that connection, like, oh, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. You know? It sounds so hilarious to say that, but like I had that experience, and I think that maybe seeded it for kind of when I found your stuff and when I found my way into this world a little bit.
I always feel like be yourself, work on your own self-confidence, work on yourself as a person, because that translates to a lot of different fields. If you just make it very narrow, like I want to do this to get girls, that may be true, but you're selling yourself short. Like self-confidence, like working on like your wardrobe and everything will carry into every other aspect of your life if you're a better person for yourself.
Absolutely. Gotta work on every area. You gotta work on every area. That's you know what the cool thing about approaching women is though? Bro, see this cut? We had a rough night the other night in Uluwatu. The next day I immediately got a haircut. I was like, okay, I'm gonna dress a little differently this time. I mean, approaching is like it reflects your flaws in a sense. How am I coming across? Maybe I can dress better. Maybe I can, it forces you to change. It forces you to analyze what you're doing. How's your communication? If you're like in a really bad mood and you're negative, try approaching a girl. You just get rejected right away. It forces you to be like, okay, let me just like stop thinking about this negative shit, loosen up, start dancing a bit. Bro, like at the club, we were like, remember last night we were like singing along together? Like we were looking at each other like, yeah, fuck yeah. We were having so much fun, remember that? I was like, the only reason we do this is because we know we need to get in an elevated state, emotional state to talk to girls. And this shit's hard, so we're gonna get out of our heads so we can do this. So I think approaching women forces you to level up every other area of your life, or at least it forces you to analyze what's going on inside, how do I take control of my emotional state?
The acid test I always feel is, would you date yourself?
Would I date myself?
Yeah, would you date yourself?
Absolutely.
So but I think that is like, you need to be this high to ride. So you have to honestly say, I would like to date myself, and then you go out.
That's a good way to think. Actually, that's a great way to think about it. It's like and it makes you ask yourself, well, what would I offer to myself if I dated myself? Like, what kind of lifestyle would I bring? What kind of energy would I bring? What kind of social circle do I have that she can join in on? So that's a good way to think about it. I like that.
Tate said the same thing.
Well, yeah, he did. It's like, would you even date yourself?
Yeah, he's like, if you were a girl and you had to choose, would you choose you? Damn.
He's like, be real. You wouldn't fucking choose you either. I was like, damn, bro. Okay.
How does he come up with this shit on the fly and he just makes it sound so...
Doing podcasts makes you appreciate people like him. Like, how does he talk for 6 hours straight and barely stutter his words? He's good. Yeah, he's good. He's an excellent speaker.
I've not done podcasts, I've been on podcasts before. And it's not that hard, because if you know something and you love about it, you think about it all the time, it just comes naturally. Like right now I'm talking to you guys, right? I'm not making it, it just comes out.
One thing I appreciate about you is you did introduce yourself. When we were sitting down earlier, you walked up and you introduced yourself and said hi. I always appreciate when someone does that, because I'm like, I know what that fucking takes. It takes a little bit of gut. Like, you have to like get out of your own way. Maybe we could be dicks to you, and you just kind of set yourself up and throw yourself in there. And I think that's a good skill to have, honestly.
But it's sort of like you learn to read the room. I've been in many different situations, done a lot of things. I asked a stripper out once. She said no, but at least I took the shot. I asked her once.
Now you gotta ask out 50 more, maybe.
Hold on, is it the right vibe? Because I don't want to come up as a creep. The strippers in a kind of different zone, because there's the financial element and everything. So you want to be respectful at the same time, flirtatious.
That's a good question to ask. What's the difference between a guy being a creep and a guy not being a creep when he approaches? Because that's actually a objection I get a lot from guys in comments, is like how to approach. Well, I feel like I'm going to be creepy. So how do you get over that hurdle?
awareness of the other person's experience, and that takes empathy, and empathy takes space in your mind and space in your psyche to not just be caught up in everything you're thinking and feeling. It's the ability to actually think, what is this person thinking when I speak to them? And for me, it came over time as a result of actually other people making me feel uncomfortable. And whenever somebody makes you feel uncomfortable, using that as kind of a mirror to say, oh, how am I doing that thing? So now anytime someone makes me feel kind of weird, I think to myself, man, where am I doing that in my life? Because there's chances are if there's something that I'm like in my mind that's sticking out to me, like, don't do that, dude. Like, that's making me feel uncomfortable. There's probably somewhere that I've done that myself. And honestly, it's just accountability and owning up to it. And then it's like, okay, making that connection in your brain is like, every time you make one of those little connections, you probably become like 5% less weird.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point where you can still be awkward. You can be awkward in an interaction, but the difference is that you are giving yourself grace and you're having awareness of the other person's experience. Like sometimes it's even enough to be a little bit awkward and to just acknowledge with the other person, like, yeah, I know, like, who is this guy walking up to you and like being kind of weird.
Like vulnerability.
Yeah, exactly. And you're putting yourself out there a little bit more and you're giving them the opportunity to blow you out a little bit more, but also it's like, it's empathy and it's push and pull. And it's awareness of the other person and not just yourself, right? It's actually narcissistic to be stuck in your head because you're not thinking about anybody else. When you're thinking, oh, poor me, like the girl said no, you're not thinking maybe she was having a bad day, you know? You're not thinking about that. You're only thinking about yourself. So I would say it's thinking about the other person, maybe even more than you think about yourself.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's good. And then, so that means there's genuinely, inherently, there's nothing wrong with walking up to a woman and saying, hey, I just want to say you're beautiful, and trying to get that girl. It's only wrong when you see that it makes her uncomfortable and you don't just back up. And you're like, oh, okay, well, she's not interested. It is what it is. Yeah.
And also cultural context. That's probably more permissible in Western countries. In Eastern countries, it's like, okay, maybe it's too aggressive. Depends.
That's the number one. I've gamed in Taiwan before. I've gamed in Taiwan. But the number one thing that I read in my comments, one of the number one objections is, oh, well, this isn't possible where I live. And I almost always think that it's not true. There's actually, we were talking about this. He said that there's a channel in India that has like 500K subscribers where they go up and approach girls in India because almost every Indian guy that believes that it's not possible. I've even had people who paid me, talk to me, like, bro, it's not possible in India. I just know it's not. And it's like, bro, like, there's actually a channel to debunk this myth. I think the game is different though, because in Taiwan, it's different. They're much more, I don't know how to explain it, but they're more reserved. You can't go in super, I guess, crazy. I wouldn't be able to explain it to you.
Use the lines I use on the strippers in an Asian country. Yeah. Basically,
that's calibration.
Yeah. Can I add a meta point there too? Like when you're saying it's not possible, what you're basically saying is that where I live, the human species is not allowed to propagate and to continue. Like, how does humanity? How does humanity?
It's a logic fail.
Exactly. I mean, I get it. Like when you say cultural context, I get it. Some places there's arranged marriages and it's more socially acceptable. What you're saying is like maybe there's a different social contract, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for your mother and father to meet, one of them had to talk to the other.
Yeah.
For your grandparents to meet, one of them had to talk to the other. To say that it's not possible to socialize with the opposite sex and to actually, think about it, you socialize, you fornicate, you procreate, and you're helping the economy. The government wants you to approach.
social intercourse before you can have sexual intercourse.
My mentor said something I loved. His name is Vince. And it was to the point, a guy asked, like, do girls like sex? I feel like guys want sex, but girls don't. He's like, listen, there's 8 billion people on this planet, and that's because human beings like to fuck. And I'm like, dude, that's basically it. That's basically the premise.
Asexual stuff, but that's about it. I'll say 95% of humans, 95% of the human population is interested in sex in some form.
I would say 99.999999999.
It's comprised about 1-2% of humans. You can't ignore that they are asexual people. So yeah.
I respect your opinion, but I would say 99.9999999.
Guys, it's been a good talk. I enjoyed having you here because I actually like when people want to debate or give me new perspectives where it's like, I like to be challenged in this because it forces me to dive deeper into the topics. So
I find like even if I like a girl, the first meeting I won't ask her out. I won't. The first meeting, I would like sort of get the vibe. I'll try to get the number, but I may not make a move on the actual first meeting. What do you think about that? I would like I'll wait a while.
Like your first date with the girl?
The first time I even meet somebody.
Oh, like you approached a girl, you won't make a move? I mean, I made out with a girl last night, and I just met her.
You just go for it.
Yeah, if she's feeling it, yeah. She gave me that look. I could tell that she wanted me to escalate. And sometimes, if you don't, the girl will think you were too scared to do it, and then she'll lose attraction. That's actually happened to me more times than I've gotten the thing.
So you lean on the aggressive side?
I wouldn't call it aggressive, but I would call it, I lean on taking the shot when you feel like it's the appropriate time. When you feel that the eye contact, you got to read the cues though, the eye contact. I feel like I would rather take the shot than not take the shot.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know. I prefer not to ask girls out in a like public area like this. Would you be okay with that? You just go for it.
Wait. Sorry, what was the question?
I mean, if there's a lot of people like this, like 20 people, I usually don't. I like try to wait for like quieter.
You know, in a situation like this, I don't know. I mean, if I like her and she's feeling me, shit, why not? I think it's cool to be open about it to everyone around. It's also very hard because now everyone knows you. Now, the only caveat to that, I actually feel like, I would love your perspective on this. For example, if you go to a gym every single day and you see a girl and you like her, maybe you want to be a little bit more hesitant because if you blast your chances, now you're the guy who got rejected by that girl, and it's like negative social proof, you know? It's like, oh yeah, he got rejected by her. It's not a good look, so. But and the last thing I'll add, I lean more towards the brave choice whenever it comes to anything. Like whatever is the hard, brave choice is usually the choice I want to make.
I would say it's very important to pay attention to context. So like as you were saying, if you're in a gym and you've seen a girl a few times and you're talking to each other, I think there's a difference between deciding like I'm going to ask her out right here now versus you're feeling it out and you're still being man to woman, right? I think the wrong thing to do is to meet somebody and to kind of continue the interaction under the guise of I just want to be your friend when you know that you actually,
I mean, dishonesty is not
like
cool,
when you know that you have a burning desire and you know that you're going to try the next time under the guise of friendship to try to do something. To me, that's more dishonest than knowing you have that burning desire and putting yourself out there in that moment. Now, there's a right way to do it and a right context and a wrong way to do it. Like, I think it is very aggressive to be like, someone you just met, I want to take you out for dinner tonight, right?
Yeah,
there's a context. There's a time and place where that can work. But I think when you say like asking someone out, it's a very broad thing to do because asking someone out could be like, hey, I would love to see you again. And having an idea of like, you know, there's this beach that I would love to take you to. Like you said that you like the sunset and we could go by the beach and we could go get ice cream and I think it'd be a lot of fun. And in that way, like, you're not necessarily like going in for the kill and being super aggressive, but you're also not hiding your intentions that you would like to see this person again and that you are excited about their presence, right? So I think it's just about assessing the situation and using your best judgment to decide what would be appropriate for that situation. Right?
Wise words. I think like most things in life is a spectrum. Yeah. I mean, how much ask out, right? I mean, there's like, will you go out with me? And then there's like, yeah, what you said is I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I remember that.
Yeah,
I have an interesting perspective because I'm kind of newer to the game, and what I notice is if you really like the girl, the default behavior should be try to get everything figured out like right then and there. If you can go on an instant date there, it's just like you have to do it then because I've noticed that I've got so many Instagrams and messages and they just fizzle out. There's so much friction. There's so much friction to meet up again. Yeah. You gotta schedule it. The logistics have to be good. And then now she's on Oh man! And now I'm realizing I don't want to get the Instagram sometimes because on the Instagram she has to go on Instagram to message you, and she has probably other guys on her Instagram. And now in her brain she's like scrolling. She's like, oh that guy. Oh, who's this guy? He messaged me. And now there's like competition on the phone now. And so
don't overthink it.
No, it's not.
I think he's right though, because like a girl, dude. Remember the German?
It's proof. Yeah, it's proof because I've gotten so many Instagrams and my return on investment is like 3%. Yeah. And he's been in the game for a while. And it's what 10%. You said about 4 to 10% ROI. 5 to 10% on return on investment when you leave it for the next time.
That's fair. I've heard this before. Okay. Yeah.
So if you can get it done right then and there, that should be for me. That's the best.
Yeah, that's fair. That's cool. Interesting.
I had you remember the German girl I met on the beach? Out of the last week, all the girls I've approached, that was probably the most fun I had talking to a girl. And in that moment, I actually had a date set, so I had to go to the date. But but I remember she was like, "So what are you doing later? You know, like what are you doing right now?" I'm like, "I got plans." She wanted to go on an instant date. It was a perfect opportunity, but I genuinely couldn't. I don't think I'm ever gonna see that girl again. I tried to get her out, and it's just too flaky. It was just like, it happened like 5 days ago. We had an awesome conversation. Like I remember we were genuinely like laughing our asses off together, which doesn't happen very often. And she was bad too. But now, like you said, she's getting hit up left and right. She gets approached probably every day in Bali. She has tons of options, and I'm just the guy who approached her on the beach, who's messaging her through Instagram, and it's not as real. And maybe I should upgrade my Instagram and start doing what you're doing, which is posting more and all that. And so maybe she'll hit me up. But I don't think I'm gonna see her again. And it's like, bro, if I went on an instant date with her and then we maybe even kissed or built some intimacy or had more of an experience, got her WhatsApp, I'm this guy that she's dating now, and she's gonna see that through. Maybe 90% of the time, you never know. Compared to if you didn't go on that instant date, it's like way more flaky, I would say.
I think there's this divide that you cross when at the beginning you're someone who's approached maybe once or twice, and obviously you feel like you know what approaching is, you've done it a couple of times, but then you spend a lot of time thinking about it. You spend a lot of time watching videos about it. You spend a lot of time on dating apps, right? And I think that that's a bad place to be, because what you just described was an opportunity of serendipity, right? Something to happen and something unexpected. I think the generation of men right now, we spend so much time thinking, so much time plotting, so much time thinking about the one girl you spent 2 minutes talking to. You spent 2 minutes talking to her, and you spend the next fucking 2 months thinking about her, right? But maybe if you spent that next 2 months going out and getting more comfortable, meeting more people, you would have more opportunities and serendipity in your life where unexpected things happen. And I tell you, man, like, it's the fucking unexpected things happening. Me and you meeting, we were at the gym, and you just started talking to me, and we just started shooting the shit. That was an unexpected thing. I didn't have any intention of meeting someone who was into the same kind of thing and having this experience right here. The experiences that you're gonna remember are not gonna be the ones where you spend 5 minutes talking to the girl and then 5 months obsessing over her. It's gonna be where you're going out and you're challenging yourself and you're letting yourself have moments where you don't know what's gonna happen. And that's scary. The unknown is naturally scary. But that's also where living a fulfilling life is. It's in those scary moments. It's when you don't know what the fuck is gonna happen next, you know? And it's only through doing this that you will actually give yourself the opportunity to experience it. There's no other way to do it. Yeah.
Holy shit, that was powerful.
One of the conversations.
Oh, wow. I don't think I'm gonna be able to top that one. That was good. That was too good. Shit. It's crazy that we had him here because we got to debunk things. You know, we got to get into the mind of someone who's never approached.
I thought it was really funny how he said he's mixed on PUA, and then he said he wrote a book about it. I love that. That's funny to me.
When I was like, I'm a fucking PUA.
No, the fact that he's mixed on PUA, but then wrote a book about
It's like, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's weird. It's interesting. I don't know how to explain it.
This is like a meta level point in like, there's a lot of talk about like when you get rejected and you feel anger, right? That anger is not with the girl, it's with yourself. So I think a lot of guys that watch a lot of this content are also like the biggest haters of this content.
Yes,
because
bro.
it's like they accept it 60%, but then or even 90%. They accept it 90% because they're watching the videos, they're consuming it. But then the 10%, which is actually going out and doing it, they're not doing that. And so it creates this cognitive dissonance because you have enough proof to where maybe my life could improve, maybe my social life, my dating life could improve, but you haven't taken enough action to actually fuck around and find out. And so it kind of creates this, I don't know about that stuff, or I don't know, like that's cool for you, but that's not for me, you know?
Yeah.
And you said something really interesting to me the other night. You were saying how you watched a lot of these videos and you saw a lot of this content online and you thought this is not for me. And then you saw his videos and you thought to yourself, you know, maybe this could be for me. And that was really fascinating to me. So like if this is the video that it takes for you to, you know, cross that divide and not just be somebody who consumes this and actually decide to, you know, cross that divide and do something you've never done before, and you know, maybe make some new friends that will be lifelong friends. You know, it's not even just about getting laid or getting a date. It's about like meeting people that you would have never otherwise met.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
You learn a lot about each other in the field too. Like when you go out with someone and you go approach, you learn a lot. But yeah, dude, man, well said, well put. Want to add to it? That's a spontaneous podcast. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm fucking grateful to have you guys around me and to have this spontaneous. It's a lot of good ideas always. So, peace.